Welcome back. You're watching Prime Edition. Time for us now to get into a conversation. The Honourable Evans Misati, the chairperson of the Political Parties Liaison Committee, joins us in studio. Let's take stock of what is happening across the country in relation to political parties and politics, because, I mean, that's the currency they transact. Thank you very much, Honourable Misati, for joining us.
Thanks so much, and I want to thank KBC for giving me this opportunity during the prime time to speak about what we do on a daily basis.
Let's talk about Goonism first, because this is a matter we must get off the way first. And it's a culture that is now threatening democracy in the Republic and indeed the stability of a nation. What is PPLC doing to deal with Goonism, particularly when it is obviously apparent that it is some political parties shielding or protecting these goons?
Thanks so much for that question. First, out there, there's a confusion about goons. People don't even understand. Some of them are practicing goons, but they don't understand that they are doing that. Our dictionary defines a goon like an awkward, stupid person or an aggressive, violent, young criminal. That is actually the definition. As per the dictionary. But the definition by our daily operations, a goon is not a security person. A goon is somebody who is paid to execute some work for a politician, for a political party, or something of that kind. So to say it plainly, Goonism is a political violence. It's political violence. It's not only that it's contracted out, but dressed up in the word we call it logistics. That's how our politicians dress it up. But basically, once it's contracted payment or protecting and doing other things, that's basically Goonism. But we realize that each side of the political class is practicing it. Some may not know, but they're actually practicing it. Yes.
The question is, what is the PPLC doing? Or are we going to see sanctions in the coming months, particularly sanctioning some of these political parties? Do your powers extend to that extent?
We are talking about self-regulation first, because if political parties can, as PPLC as a platform of ensuring that we engage as political parties to ensure that we have free, fair electoral processes. A free, fair electoral process cannot happen when others are chasing others, because what happens is we have categories of goons. There are those who are brought to make sure that they echo the other opponents. There are those who are brought to ensure that they intimidate the other opponents. That is not free and fair electoral processes. So what we are saying is that IPC has got the main mandate under Article 84 and 88 the Constitution to ensure that they enforce the code of conduct so that those people who are inciting violence, they can be able to be either barred from participating or they pay a fine.
All right.
But essentially what's happening now, just to mention the summary, is that you remember the Sabina Chege case? It went all the way to Supreme Court. And in September 2023, the Supreme Court ruled that it's now law that IPC can be able to go ahead and enforce penalties or even make sure that anybody who is inciting violence is not cleared to run for office. IPC has got the mandate. It's now law. It's not court of appeal. It went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Okay. I want us to talk about internal democracy. It's good you've referenced a matter of Sabina Chege.
Yes.
And we are seeing a replica of the same, particularly when it comes to internal democracy happening in ODM.
Yes.
You have Linda Mwananchi and Linda Ground, all of them under one party.
Yes.
The question is, in terms of promoting internal democracy in parties, does PPLC have a role?
We may not have a role at the internal party levels, because our main role as PPLC, statutory Section 38 of the Political Parties Act, is to ensure that we are players in this business of elections. So ours is to ensure that we engage IPC and the whole RPP to ensure that the rules of the game, the operations plan that we recently launched, IPC invited us to launch, that it has given each and every political party that is participating in elections free and fair chance to participate in elections. We do not go into personal or rather internal party matters.
Okay.
Yes.
Talk about women, young people, and people living with disabilities. Over time, they've been disenfranchised because we're heading to an election. Over time, there's been disenfranchisation. Does PPLC have a framework of ensuring that these people, the women, youth, and people living with disabilities, do not just become members of that party, and they can equally participate and compete with other people within parties?
Yes, well, I have had several complaints. The young people, the Gen Zs, have come forward to demand that the parties, they do not see them as passive participants, but active participants. They have complained. We have held engagements with the International Republican Institute, the youths in political parties, to ensure that they are given their space. Of course, we have told them that they should not expect anything on the silver plate. They should use their numbers to kind of bargain their way to the slots in the political parties. That has been happening. The young people have complained, but we have also engaged the political parties to ensure that they participate in them. One thing I've advised the young people as a chairman of the political parties is that don't fall into the handouts. If you are participating, because the moment, what happens is that if each and every time you come, I'm giving you transport. When the time comes to get position or power, what business will I have? Because each and every time you are coming or you are participating, I was paying you. So I'm urging the young people to contribute to the welfare of the political parties without necessarily demanding compensation, so that their input is taken in on what they do than relying on the leaders to be paying them tokens now and again. Yes.
As the leader of PPLC, I'm sure probably you participated in the making of this document,
yes,
the election operation plan.
Yes.
And I wanted to talk about campaign capping. For a presidential candidate, I saw about 4.4 billion. But then what shocked me was a political party capping at 17.7 billion shillings. I don't know within the ranks of PPLC, and particularly the parties, because all parties subscribe to PPLC. And how many parties do you have that have such a financial mass?
Yes.
17.7 billion shillings.
First and foremost, let me say that in the near future, we're in the process now of public participation.
Okay.
Of course, we gave in, there was a technical team which was also, we seconded a member of the political parties liaison committee to sit in that technical team. And they have come up with those figures. One, I want to say something. When we talk about Goonism, I looked at the items of expenditure that are allowable expenses, and I looked at the IBC has factored in what we call security. I suppose we are not going to call the people who protect the politician security, because the moment we do that, we'll be allowing like an admissible expense of paying the goons.
Okay.
We risk that unless we define clearly what is security. So you realize we have an item of transport reimbursement of around 11 billion shillings as a gap.
That looks like bribery.
So that's where we are as a country, and those are the limits that IBC has come up with. And that is for the party. And you, of course, IPC had to look at the number of people in a constituency. The total is like, the assumption is this political party is going to work across the country.
Yes.
The transport reimbursement from all the, is assuming that everybody has got that capacity. So the last thing I'll say, what you have asked me,
yes,
is that the spending items which are agreeable, the venues, election security, and then transport as the biggest ones. So we are still participating in the public participation, and I'm sure we'll be engaging IPC as political parties. Political parties have been given up to 13th of this month to give in their memoranda. If they agree with this, then we can be able to put up the gazettement.
Okay.
Of course, we have the challenges, as you know, the capacity of IPC to regulate this, and also the structure of us as a country to ensure that when you are opening that bank account and it says your agent should be a signatory. If we have been having problems of candidates fighting with the agents and the money that is agent is paid to go and pay the other agents, that money does not reach. What about now if somebody is going to be a signatory of your account? I'm sure we need to look at that as a country so that we don't just make laws just for the sake of making it, but the good thing is that we have been invited to public participation and we'll give our input at that level.
There's a question I want to ask you. You are a founder of a political party yourself. And the question of funding, because again, that has been the hue and cry amongst political parties, and particularly those ones that enter into coalitions before elections, whereby you find that the party that has majority members of parliament ends up taking the lion's share of the political party's funding. This current model as is, how does PPLC plan to work around it? Is it fair? And if it is not, how do you plan to work around it?
Thanks so much. I am a founder of Progressive Party of Kenya, which is a party that's going to fill candidates all the spaces in Kenya in the 2027 general election. And we receive the PPF, Political Parties Fund. And as a platform, our mandate being that free, fair electoral processes, we still feel that we need to look at that formula so that we can have, we are proposing amendments to the Political Parties Amendment Bill to ensure that at least the parties, the full registered political parties, have got at least basic minimum administrative costs of paying officers, paying the core staff, so that at least we can compete from a level ground. You see, basically, like now we are talking about UDA and ODM getting the 90% of the funds. It's not a free or fair process. So we are pushing for that. Of course, we are also making efforts to ensure that, like in my party now, we have donors who are supporting us to ensure that the candidates who are going to be in our party, they are supported to take office.
All right. That's quite interesting. I want us to wind up this conversation. And as we do, the question of preparations for the elections. PPLC has a big role to play. One, in terms of ensuring there's awareness around elections, but also around political parties, because for many, parties are election vehicles. And then after that, you don't engage with the party. As you're seeing, for example, you see 10, 15 parties in one region, and people keep interchanging that way. The civic education around political parties and elections as we head towards 2027, what is PPLC doing?
Thanks so much. First, we are participating in what we call the enforcement of the code of conduct, of course, together with IPC, and we are encouraging that IPC now engages the political parties more so that we can support them to enforcing the code of conduct. Secondly, the nomination regulation rules, which we agree to have a standardized nomination regulation rules. And finally, to ensure that there is political hygiene. Those people who do not subscribe to the political parties, they don't pay subscription. We have agreed as all the political parties, they will not be cleared from party A to P, so that we have the political hygiene that we are seeking in this country.
So people who jump from a political party nomination to an independent candidate,
they will not be cleared. They need to be cleared. We are doing that as PPLC to ensure that we enforce the political hygiene. Once we have agreed as a team or as political parties, is like we are chama. So you do not take my candidate who has not cleared with me, so that we at least work towards having some political hygiene. This thing of you are elected in this party, tomorrow you ignore to pay subscription, the next day you're in another party, is actually what is called killing our ideology in this country, so that people don't subscribe to the ideologies of the parties.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Evans Misati is the chairperson of the Political Parties Liaison Committee. He's also the founder of the Progressive Party of Kenya, that is PPOK. Yes. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish you all the very best in your engagement, of course, as you continue. Just hold it tight there. Yes. You're taking a breather. Don't go too far.
Thanks so much.